Winslow had grown up in a small urban village in the country of Congo. This small village in particular had never experienced colonization before. King Leopold II's unforgettable actions and the Congo crisis were unknown to the village. Everyone still spoke in their indigenous languages, technology in the village was limited, and the village folks were very much one with nature. Winslow lived happily with his father in the old village, but one day,
Winslow, we must leave our village.
But father, how come?
I'm very sick, Winslow. This old village won't do me any good. We must get help elsewhere.
Father, you don't look very sick. Father!
Winslow, you must accompany me.
Where shall we go?
Kinshasa.
due to Winslow's father's mysterious sickness, the two traveled to Kinshasa, the biggest and most modern city in the Congo, to cure his father. By the way, I totally didn't copy a certain movie known as Beasts of the Southern Wild. Nope. After a long and hard trip, the two had finally arrived at Kinshasa.
Father, we are finally here.
I must get to a hospital. Winslow, you must wait until I come back.
Father, what am I to do?
And so, Winslow's father had went to the hospital, and Winslow himself was left all alone. But what would he do until his father returned? Winslow wandered in the city. Being the boy he was, Winslow was curious about the city. What was it like being there? How was life here different from life in his own little village? And so, he decided to explore Kinshasa for himself. The first thing he had noticed was the fact that everyone was speaking a language that was different than the language Winslow had grown up with. He thought to himself,
Why is it that people are speaking a different language? How dare they not speak the original language of the Congo?
after all, it would have been hard for a young boy to understand how or why an African country is suddenly speaking an European language. Winslow did not notice, but religion has changed as well. In his village, the people believed in several gods, with some being more powerful than others. And they also believed in oracles and in sacrifices. In this new city, there was only one god, and there were no such things as oracles, the sacrifices being considered inhumane. Winslow explored the city a little bit more. If people weren't even speaking the right language, what else was wrong with the city?
Rate.
Was she just raped? Why are there no laws to prevent this?
After only a short period of time, Winslow had discovered nothing that was wrong with the city, the women. When they were clearly in need of assistance, no one would bother to help. He had also noticed that women never ate alongside men, and they only ate the remains of men's food. Did people think that women were less superior than men?
In my village, people respect women. So why is it not the same here?
However, women weren't exactly equal in his village either. Men had multiple wives, and the women never did any important work other than reproduce and have the house clean.
Please, sir, give me money.
Huh. Pathetic.
It wasn't only the women, however. He had noticed that there were so many children, many his age, that lived in the streets. They begged, tried to sell stuff, and even worked for adults. Again, he thought to himself,
What's happened here? Why is this city so much worse when compared to my village? At least the children don't cry in the streets without parents.
while it was true that children were mistreated in the city, children also have to go through a lot in his village. All boys were to be circumcised, and they fought and hunted at an early age. Girls work with their mothers as soon as they are able to, and have less privileges than boys. Winslow had discovered something else. The city folk weren't one with nature, as he and his village was. They got food by going inside certain buildings. The people used artificial items and clothing, and they barely even stepped on grass.
At least I step foot on grass every day, get food from trees, and by killing animals, and wear clothing made out of things from nature.
There were good things and bad things about the supermarkets and having artificial clothing. For most people, getting food and getting clothes was much easier than in the pre-colonial era. However, labor, including child labor, occurs in the process of creating clothes and getting food. Although Winslow did not realize, there were good things about the city thanks to the impact of the colonial legacy. There were several high-level schools in the city, something that Winslow himself had never experienced. There were also 20 hospitals in the city, which was, again, clearly not found in his village. In fact, Kinshasa had the world's only sanctuary for orphan bonobos. After a long time, Winslow finally went back to the hospital. His father was waiting outside.
Father!
Winslow!
They both left the city, and Winslow told his father about everything he saw. The two ventured back to their village.